Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to another Look at the Awesome with Yessik. Today we'll be looking at Pixeljunk Sidescroller on the PSN, a cooperative side-scrolling shooter that is really awesome. So we're just going to get into the game here, and as you can see, it has a peculiar art style, and one that I quite like. It's kind of old-fashioned, almost asteroidy in its appearance. So, I'm the pink one there, and I'm using the laser, and my friend there is using a machine gun. And these weapons all upgrade differently, and you have all of them at the same time. You see I got that level 2 upgrade, and now I'm shooting in front of me and behind me. So, this game has a lot of points in its favor. It has a really satisfying difficulty curve. Like, it starts out challenging, and then gets just challenging enough to make you love playing it and love you the reward of just finishing a level. Every weapon has its own specific use, the game design is excellent, the controls are excellent, except for one thing, but I'll get to that later. And, like all great games, well, most great games, it is co-op. And you know how much I love co-op, or if you don't, you do now. So, as you can see, the weapons all upgrade differently. As my upgrade made me shoot from in front and behind, the upgrade on my friend's machine gun there made it just shoot 2 waves of machine gun straight ahead. And this is very interesting for a couple reasons. One, because it's always nice to have different types of power-ups, not just like, you do more damage. But 2, because all the weapons have different uses. This becomes apparent in the next level, when you can only blast through ice that appears with the laser. Or bombs, I didn't actually check that part, but you could not get through no matter how hard you tried with the machine gun. I thought this was really good design, and makes everyone use every weapon. Which, if you didn't do that in the game, people would always focus on one weapon, and would never get the full experience. Especially in this type of game, I'm guilty of choosing one weapon, upgrading it to max, and sticking with it for an entire game. Another thing I found interesting about this game is that after a level you do not keep your power-ups. Your power-ups reset themselves. And I thought that may have been overkill, but it could be a good way of keeping the difficulty up without increasing the amount of bullets on screen to a ridiculous level. This may be a side-scroller, but I do not think it is a bullet hell game. I've also liked the water effects in this game, as they appear to bounce off your ship and are completely harmless in all other ways. I just really like that. I think it's a good little aesthetic addition. Now, there is one bad point to this game. One thing that I want to bring up that I thought was kind of bad. It's how you change weapons and how you fire. In games like this, in games like Raiden, which I love and play on the PS2 all the time, I have a very hard time, the fire button is always X, sorry, almost lost my phrase there. The fire button is X. In this, it is R1, and X, square, triangle, and circle all do the same thing. All do only one thing, actually, and that is change weapons. I found that really confusing, especially when I started the game here. You might have noticed me switching around weapons like a madman. That's because I was trying to figure out exactly what to press to fire. It was kind of useless. I found this room to be very, very interesting and very fun. That just stopped you in your tracks and made you fight a few waves of enemies in a different way than the rest of the game. It had a lot of variety with the game without making it incredibly jarring, without making the change of pace really jarring and awful. I almost thought this was a boss at the time, but it was way too easy. It turns out it was not a boss. Well, I guess it might be a boss, but either way, it is not the end of the level. As a conclusion, this is a great co-op shooter that is very much worth the $9.99 they make you pay for it on the Steam store. I highly recommend it, and I think that for a game this good, $9.99 is not much to ask. Now that the video is almost coming to a close, I have something to talk about in terms of channel. I'm planning on starting 2 series, one I've already made the playlist. One is Let's Look at the Awesome, and one is Let's Look at the Awful. So if I can get recommendations for either one, I'd be happy to review them for you. Thank you for watching, and Yessik out. figured I should probably say something for the last 12 seconds of the video. Couldn't really tell you what, so I decided to just waste your time with this. Hope you guys all enjoyed the video, and my random spiel at the end. Bye.